Hi, folks. Welcome back on. It is June 20th, 2019, and I'm coming back on because I wanted to talk a little bit more about how we're doing this and just acknowledge that the 9 p.m. show is something that I am mostly keeping towards every single night, a consistent message that is for the campaign. And we'll evolve as we go. Mostly in my head right now, the way I see that is that I will be doing a lot of talking to Americans, talking to you guys, and that's what that show is really about at that 9 p.m. hour. It's about the campaign. And so there'll mostly be things on the policy, everything that we're doing, our objectives, our supporters, and that's the way that I would like to go with that. However, then there's days like today where you just can't ignore the news. But I'm not a news personality. I'm a candidate for president. And mostly where I thrive best is when I'm focused on the things that I know matter to the success and the happiness, and therefore what matters to the American people. And when I'm focused on that, that's when I'm in my element. These other candidates, when they're talking, they're not talking about that stuff. So the news is often just also on some sort of agenda. They're not talking about the things that matter to you often. And so if I'm always on that, then it's not good. And then you have today and days like today, and you'll have those times when the news is just one of those monumental moments, one of those pivotal moments. It's a precipice. And we have this situation with Iran. So I just want to look at this a little bit closer. Here's Donald Trump from today.
Now, Iran made a big mistake. This drone was in international waters. Clearly, we have it all documented. It's documented scientifically, not just words. And they made a very bad mistake.
How will you respond, Mr. President? How will you respond?
You'll find out.
Are you willing to go to war with Iran?
You'll find out. You'll find out. I mean, obviously, you know, we're not going to be talking too much about it. You're going to find out. They made a very big mistake.
Mr. President, you said Iran is a different country. Do you still hold that opinion?
Oh, absolutely. When I came here, Iran was in 14 to 18 different sites of confliction. They were extremely hostile. They were hostile when they signed the deal. They were screaming death to America. And I think probably Iran made a mistake. I would imagine it was a general or somebody that made a mistake in shooting that drone down. And fortunately, that drone was unarmed. It was not, there was no man in it, and it was over international waters, clearly over international.
Okay, so you've heard him talking just a bit already. He's talking about clearly it was over international waters. Let me tell you, as President of the United States, I have a situation like this come up. I'm going to be very clear in this, that first off, our military planes aren't going to be in places where if they're shot down, we don't have plans and contingency plans, how we respond to that and what we are going to do in the moment. We wouldn't be foolish, that's for sure. We're not going to have our planes going in places where they can get shot down, and then it's a matter of putting the American people into a war, especially when we're heading towards the new realm. But at the same point, we're not going to run away from dangers. We are keeping this country safe, but that is a process of several elements. It's being tough when and where needed, and saying that, yes, we have things about us that are American, things about Americans also that we want to work on and do. But one thing that is most about American is we are strong and steadfast for that which is righteous. And we are going to defend ourselves. We love ourselves. And the last thing you want to do is an attack in America that loves itself, the American people, when they're so full with love and they're so strong and empowered. So that's what I would be doing as president. Donald Trump isn't saying what he's going to do. He says, well, I can't tell you. But then years go by, in this case almost 2.5, and you can see what he does. And often it's not usually this great big plan or something that somebody else wasn't going to do or something that the enemies wouldn't have been aware of. So then who is he not telling? If it's not the enemy, then it must be the American people, or maybe he don't have the answers yet, or maybe he's still thinking about it. Either way, it doesn't inspire confidence. As your president, I will always inspire confidence. I'm always focused on the picture. I'm always focused on what we're doing, on what the goal is. And so we have to protect that. We have to. We have to make it a reality. And so you better believe, and the American people will be right on board with that. Anything like this gets in the way, we're not going to have time for it. And guess what? We will deal with it, and we will be stronger for it. We will be united. He doesn't have a plan for unity.
We didn't have a man or woman in the drone. We had nobody in the drone.
Are you still open to?
Would have made a big difference. Let me tell you, would have made a big.
Okay, I feel bad for the guy. It would have made a big difference. I get him. I get him. He just doesn't want to march the country into a war so quickly. Maybe he does. I'm trying to give the guy some credit, but he does seem like he's stepping back. So I'm not going to say he wants to march into a war, folks, and I think that might just be a little hate talk. But didn't he get us into this situation, though, by being a little bravado? Maybe it's because of all of the conflict in America, the big civil war we're having in America that everybody's ignoring. So then he says things that actually get us in trouble abroad. And I held the list earlier. I still have it here. And, well, maybe I don't still have it here. Oh, here it is. There it is, right there. I'll hold it up for you again. This is it. And you can call in if you like, okay? This is America safe, guys? And we got Iran, China, Russia, North Korea. United States of America is your child. Civil war, baby. That's what's causing our problems. All this disunity, all this hate that we're dealing with in our country. Don't be fooled. That's what's causing it. Because when Trump makes a mistake, he doesn't step back from it. He can't, because the unity, the problem in the country, he has to hold to it. And because he doesn't say he's sorry, he doesn't have humility, he has to hold to it. He's only got strength. He's got one thing that works for him, strength. And he can lie, that's okay. That works for him, but it don't work for the country. But he just doesn't have what's right to take the American people to the promised land. And what's the sad part about it is somebody who voted for him, I know his intention was right, see? I'll give him that. But the guy uses hate too much and conflict. He doesn't know how to get along when you have to get along to make the progress. He doesn't value the unity enough to make, in his life, would be sacrifices to say, well, okay, I won't hate so hard. He literally is greedy in his hate. He has to hate no matter what. And he's not the only one. So we have to pull back on that kind of thinking. So you're looking at the man who's partly responsible. Now let's see how he clamors. Poor guy, huh?
But I have a feeling, I may be wrong and I may be right, but I'm right a lot. I have a feeling that it was a mistake made by somebody that shouldn't have been doing what they did.
Who do you think did
I
that?
think they made a mistake, and I'm not just...
Donald Trump, once again, I get you, buddy. You're trying to make an excuse for the Iranians for having knocked out one of our multi-million-dollar drones, aren't you? I get it. You're trying to avoid a war. I know. And you're even willing to make excuses for the enemy in this case. And entertain them and hope that they are true too, huh? Oh boy, that's dangerous thinking, Donald Trump. And let me tell you, you put us there, my friend. You put us there. So, the way to stop this is to have foresight, to think in advance, to have foresight. You failed to have foresight. I'm going to put you back on. There's something else I want to say. It skipped my mind, so I'm going to let him play a bit, and I'll be right back.
The country made a mistake. I think that somebody under the command of that country made a big
Are you
mistake.
still open to talking?
Okay, here it is. Here it is. Under the command made a big mistake. You failed to have foresight. I'm going to put you back on. There's something else I want to say. It skipped my mind, so I'm going to let him play a bit, and I'll be right back. The country made a mistake. I think that somebody under the command of that country made a big mistake. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Under the command made a big mistake. No, that's not going to be acceptable. Here's why. They shot down one of our planes. What if it was manned? Then what would you be saying? And the next one can be. You better be thinking in advance. This was a big mistake. And it wasn't just Iran's. It was yours too, Donald Trump. And we're going to be holding all of these candidates to the fire. In an honest way. Just an honest way. Not a hateful way. And some people get frustrated because I get driven, and you see that. But it's not about being hateful just for the sake of hate. We have too much of that. We have to be part of the solution, and we have to know what that solution is. In some cases, we're going to have to swallow our pride. In other cases, we have to hold people to account. And that's what we're doing right now. It's just truth. It's just truth. See, when it's just truth, it's not hate, then you're just doing the right thing. Now, Donald Trump, I have a question. Why is it that you are so quick and so willing to never make an excuse for an American who you disagree with, like the Democrats, who you don't want to make any kind of effort to get along with at all, and this country is not unified? That is a huge problem for your happy healer. Why is it that that's okay and you don't make excuses for them, but you are making excuses for the country that just shot down one of our warplanes that is largely your own responsibility? And you're screaming. Take a look.
Let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. It's all going to work out.
So you think it wasn't intentional?
Your administration who wants
Say it?
Are you saying you think it wasn't intentional to strike the drone?
I don't know. I find it hard to believe it was intentional, if you want to know the truth. I think that it could have been somebody who was loose and stupid that did it. But we'll be able to report back, and you'll understand exactly what happened. But it was a very foolish move. That I can tell you.
What is the
Do you feel like there are
intelligence
members
show?
of your administration who are trying to push you into conflict?
No, not at all. Not at all. In fact, in many cases, it's the opposite. But I will say, look, I said, I want to get out of these endless wars. I campaigned on that. I want to get out. We've been in Afghanistan for 19 years. As you know, we've reduced very substantially in Afghanistan. We beat the caliphate. We took back 100% of the caliphate. When it was 99%, Justin, I said, we're going to get out. We're going to start peeling back. And everybody went crazy because it was 99. So I said, all right, so we'll finish it up. So we got 100%. And we're pulling that back out of Syria. We're pulling a lot of people back. But this is a new wrinkle. This is a new fly in the ointment, what happened shooting down the drone. And this country will not stand for it. That I can tell you. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was great. And you seen Justin Trudeau was right there. I would be looking about like him over there, wouldn't I? Okay, I wanted to come on, talk to you a little bit about the way Donald Trump handled this situation. I feel bad for the guy. I feel like he put us in this situation, and now I don't feel bad for him, but he's squirming under pressure. He doesn't, like you'd feel bad for anybody. And in that sense. But he's doing wrong. I'm just holding account here. The guy put us in this situation, really, when he stepped out of the nuclear deal, which I'm not going to trust Iran that they were doing great things. I think, honest to God, that we actually had some real concerns there. And that I would listen to our closest ally in that region in that regard. I just would. I'm a smart guy. I think you would realize the same thing if you give it some thought. We just have to not be so political about the whole thing. But if you're going to take measures to fix problems, and whenever you do that, you're going against the grain, you also have to take a steady approach, especially if you're going to be aggressive like what Trump is doing. You got to be steady and aggressive at the same time. You can't be aggressive and discombobulated like how we see Trump is. So that's what I worry about. I say to you, like I say to you every time, we deal with truth, but we're also strong. We have a creator who loves us. Just look at all the creation around us. Just look how real it is. That love must be so great and grand. Look at all the gifts that we have every single day. The amazing entertainment that we're able to enjoy in our lives. They didn't have this 1,000 years ago. All throughout human history. We have it right now. And, well, we just have to be thankful for all of it. And we have to remember that it's this technology that God has given us, that he's allowing us to see the opportunity for a future for each one of us. every one of us can have a future that's worth living in. Not just the best, as in the richest, not just the well-off. Everybody can have a good life in America. We can have a bottom line. It's important. You've got to take care of people. You have to have a bottom for people, especially if you're going to say you are the humanity candidate and you're going to make that ascension. Remember, we have to get away from capitalism, guys. Capitalism helped get us here, and it's great. Capitalism took us about as far as it can possibly take us. And what I envision is a new economy that's based on our technology and increasingly artificial intelligence, as well as humanity. We do things for the right reasons, and you don't just get rid of capitalism immediately. You ultimately have it there. It's the first thing you have on day one. And you implement these other things. You keep the capitalism. And ultimately, when it's all done, you have a bottom floor for everybody. Of course, it's the capitalism. If you want to keep it, this is the way you keep it. It pays for this. And it's paying through that because you've got robots, you've got other technology that was made by the people. They own that. You don't get to own their ingenuity. That works for them. Now they get to go work on their spirits and they get to work on their life. We only get so many years in a life. We get to work on our salvation. We get to work on humanity, like all the problems we're having. So these are real plans for real people. And so we have to make a choice. Do we want to live like barbarians? Do we want to live like in the past? Or are we ready to go into a future that's better? I'm already there. Just watch me. I'm already there. I love with all my heart. I treat people with kindness. I'm not a perfect human being, but I do know that I have to swallow my pride, and sometimes I even have to realize I'm not perfect. And in that, we become more perfect. Do you understand? That's what we're shooting for. The best versions of each one of ourselves, and that we help the next guy attain the best version of him or herself. Together, we rise. Together, we supply the needs of our country. This is not about being lazy. Are you kidding me? Each and every person is going to be working ever harder, more than 80 hours, every waking hour, except for they're going to be doing the things that they love. And that is what life is supposed to be about. That's what this life and this journey is supposed to be about. And really, that's the way I wanted to end the show. God bless you guys, and we shall see you later. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, definitely at 9 p.m. every night. God bless.